Hello girls, and welcome to the Advice with Kennedy video. I feel like I'm looking like I just played on the playground, and guess what? I did low-key. I climbed Stone Mountain this morning, and this is the best. This is all I got, okay? Last week, I asked you girls to send me some of your situations that you felt like you needed advice on, and we're gonna go through them today. Now, if you love this video, make sure to become a part of my Patreon Puss community. I have another advice video that I made for them exclusively on Patreon, so be sure to join. All right, let's answer some of these questions. I got sent a lot, so I'm gonna try to get as many in as possible. Here we go. Advice with collaborating with brands, especially natural hair brands. My advice would be to make the content first before reaching out. Have a whole bunch of content, use the products that you love, show us different styles, but the point is you want a lot of content on your page because one, you may not even need to reach out to brands. They may reach out to you because they see your content. But two, when you do reach out to a brand, at least you'll have so much content for them to look through and see, hey, if we work together, this is what this could look like. And when you pitch to brands, you want to be able to have content on your page for them to see in all forms of content: long form, short form, reels, pictures, stories. How do you story tell? What's your relationship to the product? Really get intimate with the brands so then they can know that it's not just about you wanting to collaborate, but you wanting to collaborate. I think that'll have them pick up the phone sooner. Kennedy, how do you keep God first in all that you do? Great question. I was raised by women who are very much connected spiritually, and they don't play that. I've always been in prayer. I've always been prayed for, and my connection to God has always been that of, you know, my relationship with my grandmother and my relationship with my life, how I'm showing up on a daily basis. It's just something that's kind of ingrained in me, and I think that it's really why I spend so much time by myself and enjoy the time by myself, because I don't feel alone when I'm by myself. There are moments where I get a little bit lonely, but I don't feel alone by myself. I feel very whole and centered, and really I find it to be an opportunity to center myself when I'm not feeling so good. And most times I'm not feeling so good because I'm around too many people or I have too many motherfuckers in my ear not saying shit. So yes, to answer your question, how I stay close to God is just by always giving myself opportunities to ground myself and remember that that's who I am and that's where I am at the core. Navigating 20s, relationships, career, and identity. Somebody asked me this question on TikTok live the other day, and they are 23, and they asked me, you know, what advice do you have for me as a 23-year-old? And what I want my 20-something girls to know is that specifically, like, I'll say the thing for 23, I don't know how old you are, but you turn 23 and you start feeling like you're old. It's like, wait, I'm how many years out of high school? I'm an adult now. I'm supposed to have this figured out, and most likely you don't have it figured out. And the reality of it is that you're not gonna have it figured out. This is the time to experience life and learn about yourself, learn about what you like and what you don't like. This is where you work from the ground up. You take those intern level jobs, those entry level jobs, and you work your way up. You get in the field, you figure out what you enjoy, and in those experiences, this is how you will learn to advocate for yourself. You'll see how other people operate and decide, is that how I would handle that situation, or would I not handle it that way? And you begin to build your own system. Your consciousness will grow too the more that you engage with other people and you hear other people's perspectives, and you engage in conversation that's not similar to your own. You know, meet new people, put yourself in spaces where you're around new people. Identity is ever evolving. There's not going to be a situation where you're just going to be this person and that's who you're going to be for the rest of your life. We're not talking about character, we're talking about identity. And so, you know, who you identify as may change as you grow up. Who you are right now is not who you're going to be 5-6 years from now. Not if you are working on yourself, not if you're challenging yourself. There's no way you could be the same person once you're out of your 20s. So my advice would be to figure out who you want to be by simply living life. Go find some work that you enjoy doing, or go find some work with some people who you enjoy being around. Maybe you don't enjoy the work so much, but you enjoy those people. Maybe you have an interest in this particular field and you don't know where to start. Figure it out. Look into it. Dig deeper into that. This is how we build that shit up. You know what I'm saying? And also I noticed now, I'm in my 30s, 30s. But like, I realized there's so many people who lack finesse. They don't know how to get what they need to get because they ain't never actually worked to get that shit. It's just like they're following this system of like, okay, you do this, and then after this you do this. I graduated from high school, so now I go to college. After college, I get the job in the career that I got my degree in, and then they're following this system that most times is pressured upon them by their parents or by their peers. And I'm not saying you can't gain finesse in that situation, but when I say finesse, I'm just talking about that supernatural, that special, that undeniable thing that you have, that you gained because you had to get it out the mud, for lack of better words. That doesn't mean you went from not having money to having money, because people think get it out the mud just is in reference to bread. But getting it out the mud spiritually, getting it out the mud, you know what I'm saying, in your mental, yeah. Getting it out the mud emotionally, mentally. Like maybe you've been thinking one way your whole life, and then you get around some people and it's like, I never thought of it like that. And now you're thinking completely differently. You know, your consciousness is expanding. That shit is necessary in order for you to really evolve. And that's what you want to do in your 20s. You want to be conscious of the fact that this is the time where you are going to see people making decisions that are going to affect what the next couple of years look like. Make decisions for you. Make decisions that you would make, not decisions that you see other people making, not decisions that you think people want you to make. This is time for you to really listen to yourself and connect with that part of yourself. I would say read this book called The Defining Decade, and also read The Power of the Subconscious Mind. Wow. And yeah, I feel like I mentioned like relationships and career in there too, but like, yeah, be smart, wear condoms, use your discernment, and don't let these niggas play with you. Okay, how to deal with a man who seems nonchalant about you? Great question. Don't. He seems nonchalant about you, he is. And another thing about nonchalant is, because I had a bad case of I like nonchalant niggas, and I realized, oh, I don't like nonchalant niggas. I like men who are chill. I like a chill type vibe, but I don't like men who are nonchalant. I'm not nonchalant in any sense of the way. I find things to be very cool and exciting, and I communicate that. I am curious about the world. I'm excited about things, and I like someone who has that same curiosity and that same energy behind their interests. And when you get around someone who's not going to show that they like you by verbalizing it or in their actions, know that that's probably how they show up in all aspects of their life, and that shit is depressing to be around. There is nothing about that that is endearing or cool or fun. Pass. Let him go and be nonchalant outside. Next. Okay, my husband puts a strain on my mental health. I just feel like we are not compatible anymore. You know, the thing about romantic relationships for me, married or not, I think we always have to have a moment where we come back together and we say, how are we feeling? We need check-in time. We need check-in time. Like, it sounds like there is a major need for y'all to sit down, look each other in the eyes. I realize people have a hard time looking folks in the eyes. Sit your man down, grab his hands, and look him in the eyes and let him know you're putting a strain on my mental health, and see what he does with that information. If he doesn't immediately want to address that and change that, you know what I mean? Now be prepared to explain to him how he's doing that. Be prepared for him to possibly try to defend himself. But what I think you should do is communicate with your partner that you are feeling a weight that needs to be addressed, because it doesn't sound like y'all are going in a good direction. So address it softly but directly. How do I really move on from an attachment to someone? It's impacting my life. You know, I understand you. What you're going to have to do is attach yourself to you. What do you have going on right now when you look at your life? What's your health looking like? When's the last time you had a doctor's appointment or you went to the dentist? Are you up to date with that stuff? What does your home look like? If you don't have your own home yet, what does your room look like? Is that space looking the way that best reflects who you are and what you've got going on? If there's an opportunity for you to take care of something in your own life, do that shit. Those are healthy distractions that I would highly suggest you get into immediately. Those are things that you could do immediately. You don't need nobody else to come with you. You could do that by yourself. Get your house in order, get your affairs in order. What does work look like right now? Are you showing up to work on time? Do you work for yourself? If you work for yourself, what is it about your work right now that you could be doing more of? If you don't work for yourself, what is it about work right now that you could be giving more of, so then you can get into another position? Maybe you have, an interest in a promotion? What does that look like? How are you putting yourself in that position to do that? Reframe your mind to think about yourself and how you can better yourself, because there really isn't going to be a way to just stop thinking about this person. You're gonna think about them, but at least you can do that while taking care of yourself. And eventually, while you're taking care of yourself, you're gonna realize the attachment that you have with that person is not getting you to the places that you want to be personally. You know what I mean? So just move forward by living your life as the best version of yourself, whatever that looks like. Okay, next question. Hey, advice on trying to be less of a sexual being while single. I tend to fill internal voids with sex. Ooh. Well, it's really just gonna take, some what's the word I'm looking for? Some restraint. You're gonna have to be really disciplined about it. Hey, I said I'm not gonna do this, and I'm gonna keep my word to it. And just remember, every time that you go against that, you're going against your word. And that says a lot about your trust in yourself and where you are mentally and emotionally. If you keep going against your own word, you keep going against your own word, the thing that you say to yourself you're not gonna do, that's gonna show up in other aspects of your life. So use this as an opportunity to challenge yourself to stick to your own word. I'm not saying you gotta lock it up for years, but if you say, okay, on this date I'm not fucking this nigga, don't fuck that nigga. Okay, just try it out. But you filling voids with sex, that's deep. That's deep. That's deep. Have you looked into getting some self-pleasure tools? Okay, some toys. Get some stuff. Figure out how you can take care of yourself without relying on one of these rink-a-dink men. I'm also assuming you deal with men. Maybe you don't. So yeah, rink-a-dink men, rink-a-dink women, whatever. They rink-a-dink. Just leave them be so you can get yourself together. Because that is an admission of some deep stuff. If you know you feeling all that about. If you know that sex is kind of filling a void, it's time to address what that void is. Let's get down to the root of it all. Can you give advice on how to reclaim and rebuild your life in your 30s? I feel like there is not going to be a day where you just wake up and you're like, all right, this day is mine, this life is mine, I'm reclaiming it. You can say those things, but it's really in the way that you are living your life. And so it's going to start by you actively making a choice every day to commit to this new life that you are wanting to build for yourself. So I'm in that phase myself, and I'm doing a really great job of keeping my word to myself. And so I would suggest starting a routine. What does that routine look like? Are you going to be waking up earlier? If when you wake up, is the first thing you do is, you go stretch, or you take your multivitamins, or you have your morning routine. What does that look like? Keep that routine up every single day. Once you start, I feel like the quickest way and the best way to rebuild and reframe your life is to literally reestablish your relationship with yourself. Most times we feel the need to reframe and rebuild because we've lost ourselves a little bit. So in that reframing and rebuilding, this is really a reintroduction. This is who I am today. I'm the type of person who cooks myself breakfast in the morning. I don't miss meals. I make sure I drink enough water. I make sure I walk 10K steps a day. I'm gonna make sure I get the work done that I said I was gonna get done. You know what I mean? I'm reading a book right now. I'm gonna make sure I keep up with my chapters. Figure out what your routine looks like and do that shit every day. And guess what? Some days it's not gonna look like, the best day, but it's about staying aware, and your awareness builds and grows, as time goes on, as you continue to keep up with this routine, this healthy routine that you have for yourself. Speak to yourself kindly. Be around people who speak to you kindly. Be around people who encourage you. Pay attention to your environments that you place yourself in. Are these environments spaces that reflect the type of life that you see for yourself? Is this who this person that you want to be? Is this the space that they would be in? Would they be around these people? Is this how they would be treated by these people? Really enforce your life by simply changing that shit and sticking to it. Wow. Now I'm on a roll. Okay, let's see. How to force yourself out of a funk. Oh, let me say something else about the reframing and the reclaiming. Excuse me. I kept saying reframe. Excuse me. The reclaiming and rebuilding. Unattach yourself. Okay, the word is detach. Detach yourself from other people's narratives of what being, whoever it is that you're trying to be. Get off of their narratives of what that looks like. Stop consuming the content that you're consuming. No, limit your content content consumption, because I think we underestimate how that shit affects our brains. Do you feel like you need to reclaim and rebuild because you're seeing all this shit online and you're like, damn, I need to get my shit together? Or are you looking around your actual life and saying, damn, I need to get my shit together? If it's a mix of both, quiet the noise from the social media shit and just focus on what you're seeing in front of you, because this is not real. This is real. You know what I mean? Make decisions based off of this, not this. Okay. How to force yourself out of a funk after a breakup. Well, the quickest way to get over a nigga is to what? Get under a nigga. Hey, look, I can call it. I'm so sorry, but that's the truth, Ruth. You gonna have to talk to somebody else. Like, cause you gonna stay in that funk, mama. I'm telling you. And like, that might be bad advice. And I'm not telling you to fuck nobody. That's just the saying, you know? What I'm saying is, go flirt, get cute, get around some cuties, hear some compliments, like remind yourself of who you are and what you got going on. Cause your life doesn't revolve around them or from them answering that phone or nothing. Nights are gonna be tough. Nights are gonna be tough. But the more that you isolate yourself and put yourself in situations where you're not around other people, it's just gonna feel darker and gloomier. And that noise, call him, it's just gonna be louder and louder. And yeah, so just move forward by reminding yourself every day of the type of person you are, what you deserve. Get out here and have some fun. Get out of here and have some fun. Is dating a guy with 4 kids in a different state a deal breaker? How do you do with prolonged envy from someone who doesn't see themselves clearly? I don't. Not my problem. PU. You don't see yourself clearly and you envious of me? Not my problem. I stay away from them is what I do. I don't want nobody envious of me around me. Yuck. Yeah. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Leave them where they at. Let them figure it out. I ain't got nothing to do with you. See ya. Yeah, no. Just go. Seriously. Let's see. I want to be an influencer / creator, but I want everything to be perfect first. Shit ain't perfect even once you get into that shit. It's not gonna be perfect then. So you don't need it to be perfect starting off. I think you just need to be consistent and clear. That's it. Be yourself. That's the best thing you can do. Advice on trying to be less of a, oh, I read that. Any advice for starting over in a new city? I feel like I've outgrown my hometown. Thanks. Oh my gosh, my advice would be to go for it. The best thing I ever did was move to New York City. The best thing I ever did. I moved to New York when I was 23 and I left when I was in my 30s. I feel like I became a woman in New York, and moving to a different city forced me to challenge myself in so many ways. And then I moved to a city that's just challenging in itself. But like, I moved there because of my dreams. I specifically wanted to be in New York to pursue my personal dreams. It wasn't because someone told me to. It wasn't because it was a good look. It wasn't none of that. I went for myself. And so I would just suggest that wherever it is that you're moving to, it's because you want to move there. You don't move because of a man. You don't move because of what you think is gonna be in that city for you that might do this, that, and the third. Or I guess maybe you do, because that's why I moved to New York. But you know, just really think about where you're going before you go, and be prepared. Be prepared to feeling sometimes out of place, to needing to adjust. Those things might happen. Be prepared to be uncomfortable. Like, it might happen because it's gonna be so different from where you've been. If you are feeling nervous and unsure, yeah, do it. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna feel that way until you don't feel that way. And the only time you won't feel that way is when you are there and you've gotten comfortable. Go and visit the city that you're thinking about moving to. Stay there for an extended amount of time. Really get an idea of what life might be like if you moved in that city. But don't stall. Like, go see what it's like and then get the fuck. Don't drag your feet. You know what I mean? Just get it. Just make it happen. And if you feel like you outgrown your hometown, you most likely did. You most likely did. I can't imagine, you know what I'm saying? I can't imagine my life if I never moved from Atlanta. Can't imagine. I wouldn't be myself. Like, this version of me, this would not be me. I'd be somebody completely different, you know? And yeah, I'm so grateful for moving to a different city, whether it be New York or otherwise. Like, me moving in general, it took guts, it took finesse, it took a lot of courage. And yeah, just do it. Advice to women who don't have children dating men with children. I don't know. I guess, is there like a situation? I don't know. I have no advice for this. I don't have this experience myself. I've talked to a guy that had a kid, and his kid was kind of his personality. You know what I mean? He made him being a father his way to kind of like make him interesting. And I actually think somebody with a kid, I can learn more about them quickly, like quicker than if they didn't have a kid. The way that people choose to parent, the way that people talk about their kids, the way that people talk about the person who they had kids with will tell you a lot about who they are as a person. And so, you know, I would just pay attention to that. How do they speak about, you know, the person who they had the kids with? I would just pay attention to those things and see if that's the type of person that, you know, you want to be in a relationship with. You're getting a front row seat of what life might look like in the future should you have children with them. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do one more question, and I still have so much more, so like, you know, there will be more of these videos, but I do want to say, make sure you are subscribed to my channel, like the video for me, comment if there was any piece of advice that stood out to you the most, and don't forget to leave me DMs with your advice questions. I'm gonna be putting up these like question prompts on my Instagram stories, so just look out for those. And on Patreon, I will always have my DMs open for advice questions. So here's the next question. These are good questions. I'm trying to figure out which one. Okay. How to make the most out of life when you haven't achieved your goals/dreams? That's a deep one. Look, it's tough because nowadays we have a constant reminder of everybody's resume. Their resume is their social media. They're posting everything. They're showing you all the stuff they're buying. They're showing you all the places they're traveling to. And it just makes you feel like, fuck. You know what I mean? What am I doing? I'm gonna tell you what you're doing. You're doing too much look-a-hooing. Stop looking at everybody else's plate, because when you're looking at everybody else's plate, what you doing with your food? Letting it get cold. You got food sitting right there that you're not eating or tending to because you're looking at what everybody else got. I'm not saying that this is what you're doing, but I just want to suggest that you not do that, because right now there are goals, because what did you say? Goals and what now? If there are goals and dreams that you feel like you have not achieved that you want to achieve, you're really gonna have to lock in. You're gonna have to focus on your plate, and you're really gonna have to make decisions that are going to get you to those goals and dreams. And those are not gonna be like linear decisions. Some of these things ain't gonna have nothing to do with your goals and dreams. It might look like, oh, you have to have that conversation with that person you've been avoiding. You know what I mean? Because that situation is looming and it's affecting the way that you're showing up in other spaces. There's a creative block in you. And maybe it's because you're consuming too much content. Maybe you need to look around your environment and see, do I need to change my environment, bitch? Do I need to change my space? Do I need to rearrange some furniture? Do I need to complete that home project I said I was gonna do but I never did? You know, what does life look like around you that you could take care of before you go trying to deep dive into a goal or a dream? Sorry, my camera died. But yeah, like, what does life look like? I hope I don't have a lip gloss line. That's what I'm hoping for. Okay, I don't, period. What does life look like, you know what I'm saying, that you can address right now that doesn't have anything to do directly with your goals or dreams that you could take care of? Are you exercising? Are you making sure you're taking care of your oral hygiene? Are you taking care of your body hygiene? How much money are you spending? Can you budget better? What do your priorities look like on a daily basis? This goes back to that other question, and the answer I gave was about creating a routine. What you have to do right now is really get a good idea of who you are and what your life looks like, and how you are either contributing or how you are fucking that shit up. You know what I mean? Are you the protagonist, the antagonist in your life? I don't know if that's the right way to set that up, but like, you know, are you contributing to it, your life, in a good way or a bad way? How are you helping your situation? Really be honest about that shit. Don't just be like, you know, la la la. Really get serious about answering that question to yourself and figuring out, how can I be a better partner to myself? You know what I'm saying? You might have to adjust the way you think about your goals and your dreams. Maybe there are goals and dreams that you have achieved that you don't even consider goals and dreams. You know, if your routine is good and you have been taking care of yourself, you need to put a big check mark next to that. That's a goal a lot of people wish they had. Is your body healthy? Is your mind in a good place? Baby, that's a dream a lot of people have. Check that off. There are goals and dreams that I'm sure you've achieved. Time to reframe the way we think about goals and dreams and make sure that they're not rooted in what other people have achieved. You know what I'm saying? So really sit down with yourself, I would really consider getting a journal and writing down on a daily basis, you know, how you're feeling, what you're doing. Be clear about what it is that you are wanting to achieve and come out with a plan of how you plan on doing that. And then when you create that plan, create some actionable goals. What are some things that I can do on a daily, on a weekly, on a monthly basis to get me closer to that goal or to that dream? And you know what I'm saying? Just do that shit. You can do it. I believe in you. I did it, she did it, he did it, we doing it. If we could do it, bitch, you could do it, bitch. You know what I'm saying? There it is. Okay, so that is it for this advice video. Y'all know I love girl talk. I love, love, love it. And this is not just for the girls, but it is definitely with the girls in mind. Y'all are my priority. We've got to be here with each other. And so thank y'all so much for sending in your advice questions. This will be something I'm doing all the time for my girls on YouTube and on Patreon. Don't feel like you're left out, but just know if this is something that you enjoy, you can see more on my Patreon. Love y'all so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye. I hope I wasn't looking bald-headed because that light behind me. That's what I know for sure.